So this is what we're looking at right at the beginning of the transition from ABS 4-inch plastic to concrete pipe. And as you can see, we have a separation of where they did the transition, and it's offset. So the pipe in front is offset and it's up a little bit, so things get caught up on that joint. And then we're going to start running down the line here. Okay, so let's turn off the water so we can see a little better. Okay, let's see. Wait for this water to recede a little bit. Get a better look at the other joints and connections. Okay, here we go. So we're at 5'2" in the line. So here we go down the line. Here we go. Looking good so far, it's just a little rough. Looking good, but just still rough. Okay, here we go. So we have a little bit of separation there on the concrete joint. It's about a gap in between that, so we're at 22.5 inches on that. And then here we go with the it's getting a little rough here, so it's really rough. As you can see, so there's a gap right there with little roots growing in the line and debris that gets stuck in that corner. There we go. Down the line we go. As you can see a lot of aggregate. Really rough. Here's another joint connection, and it looks like there's a hole right there on the left at 2710. And here's the other connection for the storm downspout. And then back further is the connection on the left there for the kitchen. So down the line we go and look at the other connections. As you can tell, see that it's a pretty good sized hole there. And then down the line we go. Here's another rough area. And with a little bit of separation right there, was kind of digging itself a little hole there, and stuff gets caught up in that section. So here we go, gotta jump over that area. And here we go, and here's one other spot. So, and this is a pretty big size hole, so stuff can get caught up in here. And we're at 33.2 inches, so it's a pretty big size hole for the debris to get stuck there. Continue on down the line. It looks pretty rough. As you can see, it's really rough. You can see the aggregate really bad. Okay, coming back just a little bit. And there's another hole right on there out to your right, a joint, and it's a pretty big size hole at 30. You want to take a look at it a little better from this angle. So we are at 38 7 inches to where that hole is, and then we continue on. We got another line that connects here on the right. Okay, here's another connection. So it's looking pretty rough. So right here, we're 4111, 4110. There's a pretty big size hole there where it's been wearing away at the concrete pipe, where stuff has to jump up and over that pipe just to go into the drain line. And it's pretty rough. Okay, here we go. Let's flip the screen. It's pretty rough in this section here. Okay, there's a gap in between the connection there. Just a big size, but it's still a separation. And let's go back. And I believe that's at 4511. Okay, so we'll go down the line. As you can see, it's still pretty rough. And not too bad there. I mean, there's a little bit of separation. You got some roots growing into the corner there on the right. Okay, here we go, another connection. Let's get so worn out. And we are at 53.9 feet to that spot. Not too bad there. And it's a little bit of separation there too, so it's pretty rough. And here's another separation hole. Probably about a 1 inch gap to 1.5 inch gap in between the joints or connections. Okay, so we're going down. So that section there is at 59.5. Okay, let's look at that connection. So it's pretty rough there too. So we got about 1 inch gap on that one too. So it's at 62.2 feet. Okay, so we're going down the sewer line here. Here's another hole at 64.5 to that hole. Let's pull back a little bit so we can see a little better. See, it's a pretty good sized hole there. Separation. So the stuff gets caught up in that section. Okay, here we go. And this is one of the big major ones right here. So this one's almost at 67 feet. And it looks like it's offset with a big hole. Right in the middle. And off to the right, so stuff gets caught up in that section. So we're going down the line, and then this is where it gets really bad. So right here we got a big hole. As you can see, that's a big hole there. Some pullback, so you can see the angle of that connection. So here we are into almost to the city sewer main. So right before the city sewer main, we got a hole in the connection. And then the rest of it goes into the city. 70 feet to the main sewer line from the clean out. Alright, so let's pull this back. Okay, so that's one of them there. There's another one there. Pretty rough. Okay. Now this. Right there, 58.7. $56. $48.7. Big hole in there. See, it's getting worn out with a huge gap in that joint. 56.3. There's another gap with a hole. Okay, so there's that one there too. So got a hole there. 53.6. And then we got that hole there at 42.10. It's looking pretty rough right there. So this is where it's really bad too. So at 49.4. Flip the camera. And here we are, really rough. So about 34.4 to that joint that has a little separation in it. There you go, 31.5 to that other connection there. It's pretty rough. There's a hole in there on the side there. Water pools right there. And here we go, 29.11 to that joint there. It's pretty rough. Looking pretty rough here, so this is not too bad. And then we do got a separation right there, if you can see off to your left. It's offset a little bit and a big separation, so you got about an inch of separation. Not too bad, but it is kind of offset a little bit. And here we go, another joint. Same issue. Separation and a dip with a hole in the bottom of it. Okay, go back a little bit. That's not too bad. So right here at the transition is an issue too. Let's see, we got some pooling of water. And at this angle you can see the separation there. And on the bottom of the screen, let's take the camera back in there. And see, there it is. A better angle there. So basically debris has to jump up and over into the connection. So that's a big issue there too. There we go. Back out to clean out.